I absolutely adore the movie Rollerball, starring James Caan, and we're going to talk about it. I'm Joe, and welcome to Starbase Nerdtron. 1975 was a great year for science fiction films and movies and such. And one of my favorites of the era is Rollerball, starring James Caan. It is a wonderful social commentary that is wrapped up in this ultra violent game that's invented for the movie. So basic plot is it's the future. There are no more nation states. They've all been replaced by giant corporations called the majors that basically run the entire planet. There's the food company, the energy company, the communications company, transportation company, that sort of thing. And there is a game that is played that has replaced basically all professional sports called rollerball. And it's a very, very violent game. There are guys on motorcycles and guys on roller skates going around a track. And the idea is to put a steel ball into the goal. And it's a very rough and tumble game because you can basically beat up on the other people, and you might get a 3-minute penalty or whatever. And later on in the film, it gets worse and worse. So they no penalties and no time limits and so forth. Um, but the star of this game, the person who is the best rollerball player who's ever lived, is called Jonathan E. And he's played by James Caan. He works for the Energy Corporation. He's the captain of the Houston rollerball team. And there are three games that are shown in the movie. And as the movie progresses, the games get more and more violent, and for reasons that I'll get to in a sec. It starts off with a game against Madrid, then there's the Tokyo game, and then there's the finals with New York. And the corporations have designed the game Rollerball to to demonstrate the futility of individual effort. Because you're supposed to be on a team, right? And Jonathan E, by being such a superb player, is basically undermining that message, right? Kids don't want to be a member of a team; they want to be Jonathan E. And so the heads of the corporations get together and they decide they want to force Jonathan E out. They want to force him to retire, and he doesn't like that idea at all because he likes the game. It's what he does. It's what he knows. And in the past, a corporate executive has taken his wife, and so he's got a resentment there. There's a lot of stuff going on. Um, Basically, what they then do is they change the rules of the game, making it progressively more and more deadly in an attempt to take him out. They don't want to kill him, but they don't want to blow up his helicopter or whatever. But they do want to have him killed in the game to bring the message back that it's about a team. Um, I won't spoiler it for you, but I think you can guess where it goes. Um, and there's a lot of social commentary going on in this movie. There is, of course, the corporate structure itself, where you have executives in one level of the strata and you've got everybody else down here. And one of the ways that the movie communicates this is that the executives have last names. Mr. Bartholomew is the head of the Energy Corporation, for example. And all of the non-executives just have first names or even just nicknames. One guy is called Blue, another's called Moon Pie. Sometimes they have real names too. But the names kind of show you which strata of society you're on. And Jonathan E, because he has a last initial, he's kind of straddling that line, right? He's as close to being an executive as you can be without being an executive because they've run out of ways to reward him for his efforts in the game. And so he is basically, he doesn't have any designs against the corporation. They don't know that. They think he's deliberately trying to undermine them by refusing to retire. And he doesn't understand why they want him to retire because he just thinks the game's a game. So we have this miscommunication here. And we see at one point in the movie, we see a party with the executives, and they're celebrating Jonathan E. because he's got a multivision TV special about him, which was supposed to be his retirement announcement, and then he didn't do that. But they couldn't show it, so there was this big party, and you can see the social strata at work in the party. Even though everybody's wearing tuxedos, you know exactly who the rollerball players are in this mansion and who the actual executives are. And eventually, the executives go out and start. They have a flare gun or something, kind of like a laser gun, and they start blowing up trees while Bartholomew is talking to Jonathan E. About about their problem. Why won't you retire? And and while they're having that conversation at the very end, Bartholomew says, "You can be stopped," signaling he thinks he's doing this on purpose. He thinks Jonathan E is trying to undermine them, and he doesn't realize that he's not. But in the same way, Jonathan E doesn't realize what's going on. So you see this kind of indifference of the executives to nature. You see this again when Jonathan E. goes to Geneva to a record center to get information about the corporate wars. This is apparently how the society got set up. In the at the very beginning, there were these corporate wars between the corporations, and then just the big majors ended up surviving. So we have this, this scene where he's in this computer center, and they're talking to this big AI, and the AI has just completely malfunctioned, right? It doesn't know anything, and it's supposedly helping the corporate executives run the planet, and it doesn't know anything. It malfunctions terribly. So we see this again indifference on the part of the executives because the executives no longer go there to ask it questions and so forth. It's just wonderfully done. The pointing up the problems of corporate governance and collectivism as a whole, because even though they are corporations. Which you normally associate with business and capitalism, the fact that they are so hooked on the team aspect, the corporate aspect, the collectivist aspect of things, shows that this is kind of a more of a commentary on collectivist ideology than anything else. So, but and in and amongst this this treatment of the social questions that it's addressing are these wonderfully um, violent rollerball games, and it's almost stylized in the way that it works, the way that it looks on the screen. It's all very well done, very well put together. And it turns out that after the movie came out, and because of course one of the big things that the movie is talking about is violence, in violence in sports, violence in the media, that sort of thing. And it's funny because when the movie came out, people approached the producer wanting to actually do this, wanting to set up real rollerball leagues because the game looked so cool. And he had to, because he was horrified because the whole point was he was trying to, say how awful violence in sports is, and here are these people coming to him wanting to do this very thing. So it's just on the whole, it's a wonderful, wonderful movie. I used to, every time it's on TV, I'll stop and watch it. And I heartily recommend it to anybody who hasn't seen it. And if you have seen it when you were younger, watch it again. It's just as relevant today as it was ever. I will put a link below to where you can find a copy of the Blu-ray. So anyway, there you have it. Hope you enjoyed the video and keep watching the skies.